Hello friends, today's topic is that big beautiful bill. Let's rant.
Regardless of who you voted for or where you fall on the political spectrum, I need you to hear what I have to say and receive it with an open heart and open mind, because it's not going to only affect you, but it's going to affect millions of your fellow Americans. This is why the big beautiful bill is going to hurt the working, middle, and lower class. As far as housing, they're going to cut rental assistance, Section 8, and homelessness prevention. If you're a low-income family, a veteran, or a single parent, good luck with finding safe and stable housing. These cuts to housing include HUD programs, Section 8 vouchers, and emergency rental assistance. This impacts families already struggling with rent hikes, and they will face longer wait lists or lose their support. Homelessness is likely to rise, especially for single parents, veterans, and low-income seniors. Landlords in low-income areas may evict faster, knowing subsidies won't come through, and this hurts the working-class families, disabled individuals, unhoused people, immigrants, and unsubsidized housing. Up next, how will it affect food stamps and WIC? They're gone for millions. So if you're working full-time and still rely on SNAP to feed your kids, too bad, babes. You're out. Reductions in SNAP, food stamps, WIC, all those programs, they're being cut. Eligibility thresholds are tightening and benefits are shrinking. This affects millions who may get kicked off of food assistance or receive less, even if they're working full-time. Families with kids will see grocery budgets stretched a little thinner, and WIC cuts means fewer resources for pregnant women, babies, and toddlers. This not only hurts single parents, but immigrant families, gig workers, students with kids, and the elderly. As far as health care, Medicaid is getting gutted. That means more uninsured workers, higher medical debt, and fewer mental health resources. If you beat cancer like I did, or live with a chronic illness, they just made staying alive more expensive. This bill causes healthcare program rollbacks. What's being cut is Medicaid expansion and subsidies from the ACA. This impacts low-wage workers who rely on Medicaid, who will then become uninsured or forced into private plans that they cannot afford. Preventative care, mental health services, and prescriptions will become inaccessible. This mainly hurts immigrants, low-income workers, cancer survivors, or people with chronic illnesses. As far as education, they're attacking Pell Grants and student loan relief. First-generation students, immigrants, and parents who are trying to go back to school, the path for a better future for yourself or your family just got that much harder. In relation to the education access, this is what is going to be cut or restricted. Federal Pell Grants, student loan forgiveness programs, funding for public colleges, and adult education. This makes it to where education becomes even harder to access without debt, and immigrants and first-generation students lose their shot at an upward mobility. Adult learners, like parents going back to school, are now going to face more barriers. This hurts the working-class students, DACA recipients, parents returning to school, and people trying to skill up to escape poverty. I know this is one of the biggest ones, but the tax cut for the wealthy and corporate welfare, sweet merciful Jesus. While they're slashing aid, this is what they're doing. Expanding tax loopholes for billionaires, lowering corporate tax rates, deregulating industries that exploit labor. Need I go on? In layman's terms, and in order to translate for the people in the back who are just not getting it, tax cuts for billionaires are untouched. Corporate loopholes are still wide open. They're not cutting waste, they're cutting people like us. They're balancing the budget on the backs of the poor while rewarding the already rich. This is why it matters. This bill isn't about cutting waste, it's about cutting people out of basic dignity. It undermines economic mobility, education access, food security, healthcare equity, human rights for immigrants, and working families. It is a direct blow to the working, middle, and lower class. But here's the thing. This isn't the end. It's a wake-up call. Talk about it. Share this. Show up where it counts. Because we deserve more than survival. We deserve a system that serves us, not one that buries us while smiling. If you stayed to the end of the video, please interact with it in any way. Repost, comment, like, share, because this needs to get out to people like us. A lot of people are not aware of what's happening behind the scenes because they're too distracted. And on top of this, many Americans who voted for the talking orange believe that rules for thee and not for me is how things are going to play out. And it's just not. There are many Americans who are waking up to find out that their lives are going to be impacted by this. Many of them are effing around and finding out the hard way, as they should. But unfortunately, millions of other Americans are going to be impacted by the choices that they have made. So if you stayed, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I hope you have a fabulous day, and God bless you.
How did we get here? How did a bill that cuts food, housing, and healthcare for millions get this much support? Because most Americans didn't read it. That's why. And even if they tried to, they probably couldn't understand it. See, the average reading level in America is 7th to 8th grade. But get this, 54% of adults read below a 6th grade level. Only 12% of Americans are considered proficient readers. Translation: the majority of voters are making decisions based on headlines, hearsay, and whatever their favorite political figure said it meant. This isn't about intelligence. It's about access. When policies are written in legalese buried in 900-page PDFs and spun by biased news cycles, we create a country where comprehension becomes a luxury and misunderstanding becomes the law. So when people vote against their own healthcare, housing, and food access, it's not just politics. It is literally literacy. And let's be honest, some folks aren't uninformed. They're intentionally misinformed. You can't read it, you can't fight it. If you can't challenge it, you can't change it. You just live with it, or worse, you defend it blindly. Here's the kicker. 54% of adults read below a 6th grade level. Trump got 49.8% of the vote. I'm not saying there's an overlap, but if you hand some folks this bill, they may say, whew, that sure is a lot of words in that law. Now, the big, beautiful bill didn't pass because it was beautiful. It passed because it was barely understood. Let's be real. And until we value literacy like we value power, the people writing the laws will always count on the fact that you didn't read it. Or worse, you read it and didn't understand it.
In my opinion, you can't be a closeted Trump supporter, dog. If you voted for Trump, you got to stand on that 10 toes. And I respect you for it. You know what I'm saying? I can understand why rich majorities of people voted for Donald Trump. What I can't understand is why poor people and minorities voted for Donald Trump. So I wish all those people who try to get up here and cosplay like they don't like his policies, like they don't like what he's doing, like they don't like the trajectory of where America is going, I wish they would just put this motherfucker as capping under their post, because at the end of the day, he said everything he was gonna do, and y'all acted like all this shit, he pulling shit out of his ass. No, he literally has been saying everything he's gonna do, and he's standing 10 toes on it. Here's the definition of standing on business.
Good morning or good afternoon, depending on whatever time you see this. I honestly and truly have had to take breaks from social media for the simple fact of it's a lot happening, and sometimes you just got to take a mental break. I think one of the many harmful things about that bill that just got passed is some of y'all actually voted to harm millions of people. I'm just over here trying to understand, how do you sleep at night? Like, and maybe we'll never understand, because I'm gonna tell you like my mama told me, you cannot make sense of crazy, because then you become it. Like, how do you knowingly cause harm to someone? Millions of people are gonna be without SNAP benefits and medical care. They have already defunded Planned Parenthood. For what reason? Other than greed, other than racism, bigotry. Some of y'all voted to harm millions of people. Why? And what's even more mind-boggling is some of y'all who voted for this foolishness have family members that are recipients of these benefits, SNAP, medical, Medicaid, Medicare. Some of y'all are receivers of these same benefits. You literally voted for your own demise. Make this make sense. And then we get to the student loan conversation. And this part of the conversation always annoys me and pisses me off, honestly, because the whole purpose, and whether these people who voted for this madness, want to lie to themselves or not, the reason you voted for this madness, especially concerning the student loan piece, is deep down you only want a certain group of people to have access to post-secondary education. And this is coming from racism, bigotry, capitalism. You only want a certain group of people and a certain group of individuals and demographics to have access to what you have access to. And it is so unfortunate, and it is racism and classism at its finest. And then what's even more mind-boggling, it's like the system, none of this makes sense. You cut access to funding, programs, defunding schools, cutting medical benefits, cutting benefits that people actually need. And then up at your local congressman office hooting and hollering about crime going up. You did this. How are you upset about a monster you created? Crime exists everywhere, but we're not going to sit here and act like y'all who voted for this madness are not literally, it's a recipe, it's a beautiful disaster. You created this storm. So don't get mad when so-and-so knock you over the head for your purse at your local Kroger. You voted to defund schools. You voted to defund reproductive right programs. You voted to defund medical care for people who have probably fought war. Some of y'all voted to take funding out of VA benefits, but you won't take your ass to your local Army recruiter's office and ain't signed on their piece of paper to sign up for the military, but you cutting funding for the folks who did. Some of y'all are sickening. And honestly and truly, I'm at the point now, because I have federal student loans for both undergrad and grad school, and then obviously I'm going back for law school. I'm at the point now, when it comes to these federal student loans, and granted, I pay my loans on time every month. I'm at the point now where it's just like, if they come back and say, hey, we need so-and-so this a month, I'm about to say, fuck y'all, get it back in blood, and get it back in blood from the blood of my ancestors. It's already been paid for.
Seems like spending more money that we don't have. Is it a good thing? Or bad thing? Comment down below, and thank you for watching until next video.